we're back. You know, whether you catch America's Voice now on the web, whether you catch us on a podcast later, whether you catch us live on radio, whether you catch us on Big Country 99 in Houston, Missouri, covering the whole south central area of Missouri, whether you catch us on our own website at America's Voice Now, or Patriot FB, or constitutionclub.ning.com, or patriotfbradio.com, or whether you catch us anywhere else, including our own listen line. It's a great opportunity for you to get educated, get informed, get angry, and fight back. You know, we're not just a media organization that is sitting out here telling you about, you know, whatever the news of the day is. We expose what the Ministry of Propaganda is trying to pump into your mind and to manipulate you. And the reason we're doing that is because the onslaught and the assault on your ability to creatively and critically think for yourself is, I mean, overwhelming. And we get it. We know it. I understand it. I see it every day. We encourage you to use critical thinking. We encourage you to listen to both sides of a position, gather enough information so that you can make informed decisions, so that you are able to come to a rational, logical conclusion, understanding the underlying facts around an issue, which you have to gather from multiple sources. You're never going to get it all from one, even me. And then you have a solid enough base by which to make a position or formulate an opinion. And you can defend that opinion because you know why you hold it. I can't stress strongly enough the idea of being, and I know, I mean, listen, people say to me all the time, but I don't have the time to do all the study and research you do. Well, with all due respect, folks, I don't either. I do this thing as a volunteer effort for you. I don't need this for me. I don't need this education. I already got it. I study this stuff all the time. On my time, my dime. I don't do this for me. It bothers me sometimes. I post stuff up on Facebook. I don't see any shares to it. I spend a lot of time in the morning creating these little reviews that I think that you should be reading in order to understand what that article's about. That's why I do it. Now, I know Facebook cuts it down to one sentence, but if you never read it, then what's the point? And if you do read it but don't share it, then really what's the point? Am I just talking to myself? Am I bouncing this off of a wall? You see, you have an obligation to do your part too. And critical thinking, and I'm not saying I'm the critical thinking guru, I'm just saying I'm trying to give you enough impetus and enough basic raw material to whet your appetite to go out there and find out more. I read both the progressive, liberal arguments on things, and I read the conservative ideas on things. And I make sure I intersperse that with some what I construe to be independent research of my own. Then I formulate an opinion. Then when someone says, why do you have that opinion? I can accurately articulate where I got it, why I have it, and I've got foundations that go all the way down to bedrock. I can defend it. I can prove to you this works. Next time you're in a political discussion with someone and they say something that you don't agree with, say to them, why do you believe that? And keep using that questioning to get to the basis and the bedrock of where they got their opinion. What you're going to find inevitably in every single instance is that what ends up happening is when they run out of reasons why they believe it, if they even can come up with one, other than the fact that they heard somebody else say it and it sounded good. See, all they're doing is reiterating somebody else's talking points. That's it. All they're doing is they're parroting someone else's opinion they heard, which either supports their predisposed bias or they didn't really have any foundational understanding of it anyway. I mean, ask people who talk to you about banking. and then ask them to clarify. Well, what's some aspect of banking, and they more than likely can't even answer. Ask most people what fractional reserve banking is, who say, I don't like the Federal Reserve. Why don't you like the Federal Reserve? Because they're bad. They boom and bust us. Okay. Well, they use something called fractional reserve banking to authorize the member banks to work. Do you know what fractional reserve banking is? Ask them that. They won't be able to give you an answer. Ask them who owns the Fed. Who is the Fed made up of? They can't tell you. Well, how can you have an opinion about something if you don't know anything about it? The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is the entire nation is running around repeating talking points from other idiots who you wouldn't give the time of day, you wouldn't trust to walk your dog. Guess who's the prime knucklehead that did that yesterday? Chuck Hagel. Came out and hailed the emergence of the New World Order in a visit when he was out there talking to Poland. It's a time that we are seeing a new and early 21st century world order being built. Excuse me? Why is Chuck Hagel telling us that there is a new world order being built? I think Chuck Hagel slipped, but you see, the nation as we see it today is just full of traitors and betrayal. Just recognize, folks, that everybody involved in what's going on around here is, and what's involved in every one of these people that, allegedly represent us, that we allegedly elected, right? All of this, our founders our founders warned us that this is not, we didn't elect despotism. And that's what this is. The Washington Post was the one who broke this report on this, this thing. And you know what? We knew that Hagel was going to be a problem back before he got confirmed. In fact, I found two older articles, one of which was in the Business Insider, that was from back in January 28th of 2013. So it's a year and 3-4 months ago, right? And here's what the article says. Hagel warned Obama of a rogue Pentagon leading a, quote, new world order. That's why I say it's a slip, what he said yesterday. Hagel warned Obama of rogue Pentagon leading a new world order. As Chuck Hagel seeks support for his nomination to become Secretary of Defense, Bob Woodward, the reporter, has released a story about a White House trip the former senator made in 2009. The Post reported, and here was their report. According to an account that Hagel later gave and is reported here for the first time, he told Obama, "We are at a time where there is a new world order. We don't control it. You must question everything, every assumption, everything they," meaning the military and the diplomats associated with our country and international, "tell you. Any assumption 10 years old is out of date. You need to question our role. You need to question the military. You need to question, what are we using the military for?" And he warned the president not to get bogged down in Afghanistan. And he expressed his concern at that time over the 50,000 additional troops that, had been sent over there. The report from the Washington Post says that Hagel went so far as to say privately back in 2011, the president has not had commander-in-chief control of the Pentagon since Bush Sr. was president. Let me say that to you again. Hagel, in 2011, said, the president has not had commander-in-chief control of the Pentagon since Bush the Senior was president. I've got to tell you, people, when you hear that kind of statement coming out of a guy who's now the Secretary of Defense, doesn't that throw red flags all over the play for you? I guess that's the if you can't beat 'em, join 'em theory. I mean, is that what it is? The Washington Post came out and said, after that comment, if Hagel is confirmed, as it appears likely, this is back in 2013 now, January, a year and 3 months ago, right? A year and a quarter ago. If Hagel is confirmed, as it appears likely, he and the president will have a large task in navigating the New World Order. You see, people who are out there pitching and arguing that there is no such thing as a New World Order, there is no such thing as Agenda 21, it's all some figment of your imagination, you're a conspiracy theorist, and it's all a bunch of bunk. Well, the truth is, you know those people aren't critical thinkers. How can I say that and make a statement like that? Very easily. The truth is, if they were critical thinkers and they were informed about the issue, they would know that Agenda 21 is an actual program that has been in play in the United Nations, and it's their name for it, not ours. I mean, I know Agenda 21 has, you know, when people hear it, it has all the hallmarks of a ghost story to it. Ah, come on. It has all the hallmarks of, you know, the JFK conspiracy of assassination. But it doesn't mean it's not true, folks. It doesn't mean it's not real. It just means that the manipulators, the propaganda masters, have put doubt in your mind. Like a prosecutor. They've put, like a defense attorney, they've put doubt in your mind about the guilt of the person up on the stand. Does it mean he didn't do it? I don't know. What it means is I'm not so sure anymore because now I have doubt. That's the whole idea of a defense attorney. Put doubt in your mind. These people are defending the indefensible. A global, one world, unified government. What part of the evidence that's mounting up don't you see that participates to that, that lends itself to that, that parallels that agenda? Well, the designation of 500,000 acres out in the West, and the designation of 500,000 acres out in the West that assists illegal immigration, that's already so bold, so blatant, so rampant, that we may as well not even have any rules about it. Hello? Think about that for a minute. The takeover of federal property at a stunning and astounding rate. The idea that all of this property has to be ceded off, locked down, and left as wild lands untouched by human intervention, human habitation, human access. Doesn't that sound like the Agenda 21 concept to you? Turn the entire western United States, except for isolated pockets, into inaccessible land, to turn it back into wildlands, back to nature. Get humans to isolate and tuck themselves into these clustered areas of human habitation where we're corralled in a nation of untold and unlimited resources. That's the game plan. Eliminate the sovereignty of nation states. Eliminate the sovereignty of borders. Make people unified citizens of not a nation, not a nationality, but a geographic zone. That zone would be what? Canada, U.S., Mexico. We already know what the zone is. That plan's been underway for decades now. The merger of the United States, Canada, and Mexico. I've put up articles on America's Voice Now about it. I showed you stuff from the New American that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt, that we were working towards, and are still working towards, a North American merger. A merger of all of the nations of North America into a single political entity. Don't believe me? What the heck do you think the European Union is? Is the European Union not a collective merger? The nation-state sovereignty is gone. The borders don't matter. You're now not a citizen of France. You're not a citizen of Germany. You're a citizen of the EU, the European Union. Ask yourself, is the New World Order principle good for you? Is it good for you? Is it good for your family? Is it going to benefit you? Or, with the loss of national sovereignty, individual self-determination, individual free will, and the fact that you can be herded effectively. You see, think of it this way. Up until now, for the last 230 years, the United States of America has been the only pillar holding up the principles of liberty and freedom over the entire planet. One pillar holding up all the works. Everyone else in the world, when they wanted an example to follow, when they wanted an opportunity to look at a country that had achieved and citizens that had achieved what they'd like to achieve. I mean, my son said something funny to me the other day. We were taking a walk, and he said to me, there's a common phrase in Russia that, those Americans, they don't even have bread lines. It's all in the context, people. To the Russian, when they say, we don't have bread lines, we don't have bread lines. They looked at that and said, things are so bad in the United States, they don't even have bread lines. When in reality, we don't have bread lines because we don't need them. Think about that for a minute. You see, the context of how something is given to you and the context in which it's said or stated can change everything. Something as simple as grammar. It's all in how it's presented. I'll give you a perfect example. You've probably heard this one. Hey, we're going to eat, Grandpa. Hey, we're going to eat, Grandpa. Now, if you're Grandpa, phrase 1 means, boy, am I hungry. Thank goodness dinner's ready. If you are Grandpa and you hear phrase 2, it means, where's my gun? Hey, we're going to eat, Grandpa. Hey, we're going to eat, Grandpa. I mean, people, think about it. Things are so bad in the United States, they don't even have bread lines. Is that what you want for us? For your children? Your children's children? Do you want to be part of a system, frankly, that, one, takes your opportunity to not have to, that steals from you the option of not having to stand in a breadline. Remember that under totalitarian governments, everyone suffers equally. Under a new world order, what makes you think it's going to be better? I mean, look, if the federal government is so big right now they can't manage the economy, if it's so big they can't manage the little VA, if it's so big they can't manage Obamacare and the healthcare debacle, if it's so big they can't control the IRS, if it's so big that all of these organizations are out of control, the ATF's out there selling guns willy-nilly to the cartel managers, what makes you think they can control it when it's even bigger? It's not about controlling it. It's all about controlling you. And I don't really give a darn whom's at the helm, whether it be Republican or Democrat. Totalitarianism is totalitarianism. And what color uniform you wear, and whether you're red or whether you're blue, or whether you give me patriotic histrionics or futuristic histrionics, makes no difference to me at all. I'm not a slave to anybody. And I'm not about to allow myself to become one. Facts are facts, America. You can't change the facts. You can open your mind and use critical thinking to make sure that you understand them in the proper context. You can make sure that when you shout, "Hey, Grandpa," he understands that it's not time to grab the gun. The truth is, we're so far down the road at this point that I'm not sure whether or not we can actually change things. I posted up just to put it into perspective for you. I posted a thing up on our Facebook today about a restaurant that had a sign in there that says "No weapons, no concealed firearms," and a sign in the door. It was one of those Chipotle restaurants. And they're very liberal, very anti-gun, very foo-foo, modern, urban, yuppie, go, go, go. Restaurant had a sign, "No weapons, no concealed firearms." At 9 o'clock at night, 3 armed gunmen walked in and robbed the place. They assaulted 2 of the employees. Any surprises here, folks? See, here's the problem. The nation's been infected with political correctness. And I wrote this slogan here. PC is widely known as a mental disease, often rampant in urban areas, which has attacked the United States of America with a ferocity unknown anywhere on earth or any time in history. The CDC comes out with a new statement that says, quote, "We just got a $10 million grant to study gun violence so that we can nourish and feed this virus and help expand its vicious spread and attack on the nation. Our goal is to infect everyone so that no one notices when they contract it. If we're successful, the entire nation will never know they've been infected, and unicorns will fill the skies. Flowers will bloom and blossom. The heavens will roll back, and the nation will be at joyous peace." That's what the Agenda 21 people, the New World Order people, the One World Government people, the no borders and no sovereignty people want you to believe. The truth is, they're the ones that are the most dangerous to you. You've been listening to America's Voice Now. We'd like to hear from you. You can communicate with me directly at mike@americasvoicenow.org. That's mike@americasvoicenow.org. You can help support this program and keep it on the air. You can do so by visiting our website and using the PayPal link there, or you can mail a check to us or a money order or whatever you like. If you're a business and you'd like to support us by donating a product or a service that we can sell or auction off or some other way where it doesn't actually require cash out of your pocket, we'd love to have that kind of help. You can communicate with me at mike@americasvoicenow.org. Have a good weekend. God bless. We'll see you on Monday.